Welcome to the Bank First Ranger Hour. Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 Spotlight on Northwest Community College. And you can listen to our live stream at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour. Now, here's your host, Gary Darby.
It is our time locally to spend with you from now until about 10 o'clock this morning, and then it is the Bank First Ranger Hour. Today, all rodeo in our discussion. We're going to reach out and talk to one of the students and participants on the Northwest Rodeo team who made her way to the College National Finals, and we will discuss all of that happened in Casper, Wyoming with Raegan Chance coming up in the next segment. When we're done, we'll get the head coach, Will Lummus, to kind of recap everything, tell us all about what went on, and brag on his 3 athletes that were there, and then overlook for his entire season and what's to come in Northwest Rodeo. Plus, we will have another item of business or two in and around NWCC to get to you today. So we hope you will stick around and listen to what we have to say about Northwest Community College today on the program. I hope all of you are doing well here on this Thursday, June 25th, 2026, the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts. You guys know it, been there, not a bad seat. You go in, you can watch some of the great acts that roll through, starting with Bill Engvall, getting the fall portion of the schedule started. It's August 7. Go to heindelcenter.org, heindelcenter.org. You can look at all the events. You can go to the tickets. You can find the different packages, whether you want to buy a single ticket or you want to get into the packages, whether it is, a 5-pack, a flexible 5-ticket package, or a pick 3. Maybe you can't go to all of them, but you like 3 of the things you see coming up on the schedule. You can do that. And, of course, just the normal season ticket package where you can get everything and mix and match. There are some discounts, special discount packages, of course, for employees and students, group rates, different things that you can go and check out the great lineup that's going to be in North Mississippi coming up starting on August 7th. So all of the packages are out there, limited seating on most of the things already. So you might want to hurry and get to the website, Heindel Center for the Performing Arts. It's heindelcenter.org. We call this program the Bank First Ranger Hour, and we thank them for being a part of it for yet another day. As we finish up the month of June, we're going to talk rodeo for the next, 15 or 20 minutes with Raegan Chance. Take another pause and get the head coach, Will Lummus. We'll talk about what went on in Casper, Wyoming, plus with Coach a couple of little other things along the way, but that's where we're going with today's Bank First Ranger Hour. It is underway and going at 9:15. Thank you, North Mississippi. Gary Darby in the studios of Super Talk 93.7. Here we go.
This hour is everything Northwest. Your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College and powered by Bank First. Thanks for joining us on the Bank First Ranger Hour. Join the conversation now by texting 662-426-1093.
And one of the things that Northwest has been proud of for many, many years, there's so much to be proud of at NWCC, but the rodeo program has always been there. It's always been strong. And under the leadership of Coach Will Lummus, who we will have on after this interview, it has reached new heights and continues to grow. And one of the reasons why is on the phone with us now. She finished as the, third in the Women's Rookie of the Year standings, and then the Rodeo Association's Barrel Racing Reserve Champion. Here is Raegan Chance back with us. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. I guess it doesn't feel too bad to hear some of those things and a wrap of a first year of a career for you. We talked on April 30th. You had just kind of finished the rodeo season a little bit, the Ranger Rodeo, and what you had done and how you had moved and gotten an opportunity to go to Casper, Wyoming, and built on that. And we talked about the middle of the season and how it had driven you to where it was and to the confidence level that you had. I think it was obvious because I got an opportunity, to watch on ESPN Plus and see you ride. You were a very confident person out in Casper, Wyoming.
Yes, sir. I think I'm just a team with my horse. I feel like me and her know each step and each move each other's going to make, and it just makes the world a difference in any situation we're put in. We know each other has each other's back, and we just go out there and we do our best each time.
That was one of the things that I have notes down here that I wanted to get into and talk with you about. Because I don't think a lot of people may understand the connection you have to have. And by the way, her horse's name is Skye. I remember that from last time. But they don't, it has to be an unbelievable connection. And she has to trust you. You have to trust her. And if something goes wrong, especially because we talked about that last time, sometimes the horse has to just do the job themselves. And I think Skye has led you and done that. Can you expand a little bit on the relationship you do have with your horse?
Yes, sir. We have spent hours and hours together just riding, just getting to know each other. That is like my child. I love her like no other, and I think she loves me too in a way that she wants to go out there and work for me. You have to have a relationship. It's not really a job for either of us. We go out there and enjoy to do it together. And she knows that I'm going to ask her to go out there and perform, and she loves me enough, and she knows that we drill very slow. She doesn't have to get in trouble necessarily to learn, but she goes out there and knows that it's the same pattern every time and what points to hit. And when I ride her correctly, she just stays right between my hands, and that's all that you could ask for an animal to just learn you, and she sure has.
So as I'm looking and going through the standings and looking at different things and times and how you did in Wyoming, from the first run in the first go and all the way through, the times got a little bit better, right? How does that happen? How do you go from a 14:01 to chipping off just a little bit enough to get you in position to finish the way you did in the short go?
Our goal every run is to get faster and not get slower. We want to go in there and learn where the barrels are and let my horse be more comfortable and us just get faster and stronger each run. The more runs you make, the stronger you should get. So she is healthy enough and her body is in great shape to go out there and be faster. And also me learning how to set her up for each turn. She went out there, and I knew we could be a lot faster even than what we were. We didn't have perfect runs, but I knew what was meant to happen did happen. So we did good enough, and we're extremely excited for how great we did. But all it does is light a fire under both of us, knowing that we can come home a national championship at some point.
Right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's interesting to look at these numbers and the times that each rider had and how the margin is so thin between winning the overall, you as a reserve champion and whoever else might be as it goes on down the list. I mean, there's just a tick, maybe a tenth of a second difference in that.
Yes,
when do you think about that at all, or is this just let's go make our ride, make it as good of one as we can, and we'll worry about the numbers later on?
Well, I definitely knew that I didn't clock the fast in the first round, but it was good enough. We didn't know exactly how the times were going to be, but they got pretty fast, and I knew that we had to be 13 the next two runs to get us back. So we went in the fourth hole, and normally when you go in there, stuff has to go wrong for everybody else for you to necessarily win it. So when we went in there and I was winning it till the last girl, I knew she had a very wide time that she didn't have to necessarily just outrun me by a lot, but she couldn't mess up. And so she just went out there and did her job also. So I gave her a run for her money, I would say, but she definitely had lower times in the first few rounds to make herself feel better, which takes a little bit of pressure off of you, where I kind of had to run her down. And I think it's a lot more fun to be able to go out there and just make your normal run than have to run someone down. So that's our next goal, is to make people run us down instead of running someone down.
Yeah, as I was watching it, you can kind of tell, right? And you're talking about your runs or whatever, because there were a couple that hit barrels that were in front of you. That does help you move up along the way. The pressure that it must be, the horse is going to go out and try and do its job, and you've got to try and make that horse, do that job. What leads into that final run, and maybe some of the pressure that some of the others felt, maybe trying to overdo it a little bit to catch up to get to first, but bumping those barrels that help make you move up into the standings.
Yes, sir. And at that point, we're all at the short round, and we're all going to go for it, especially if you're not in first. You don't really have anything to lose. You want to go for it. And sometimes you go out there, and after 3 runs in the same pen, a horse will get short and, turn too tight and knock over barrels. And that's one thing me and my mom strive really hard to do, is to make sure we keep our horse freed up, make sure we keep her honest and not turning too hard. I don't ever want to have to worry about her going in there and getting short. So we do a lot of slow work and freeing her up and making sure me and her stay together and not just going out there and, taking a chance on hitting barrels. So the pressure is great. I love the pressure. My horse loves that loud atmosphere, so I know that we can go out there and do 10 times better. The pressure really didn't feel, it was more pressure, so I feel like in the second and third round than it was a short round, just because I knew I'd gotten as far as I could go, and I could go out there and lay down a run, but I don't ever want to wish ill will on the rest of the riders, so I hope we go out there and do our best, and really God will just put us wherever He wants us, because we all are good enough to be there, and obviously good enough people to have the goals to be out there. So you can't really wish ill will on any of them.
Well said. Raegan Chance is with us for just a minute or two more. So what people also may not know is you had to drive from your home to Casper, Wyoming, trailer in tow, Skye in that trailer. That's a rather long, and now you've made it a couple of years. We're talking off the show here, but that's kind of a long ride, isn't it?
Yes, sir. I think it's 23 hours from my house in Mississippi. So we have to stop. We have to make a stop in between, because the horses can't haul longer than probably 15 or so hours at a time.
Wow. Yeah, you guys are in a vehicle, but I guess Skye standing there for so long needs a little help too along the way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, look, it was obviously a great year. I know that the competitive spirit in you've already mentioned a national title along the way. So now that this is over and you're waiting to get back for the next year, do you give Skye a little rest, or are you guys already back at it again?
Well, we leave next Tuesday going back to Oklahoma to go to Shawnee, Oklahoma, to the IFWR. It's just another big rodeo out there. We'll go run out there for a week or two, and then maybe hit some other big rodeos, and then we'll come home and she'll get a little bit of a break before the college rodeo season starts back. But no, we normally keep on rodeoing, we don't run our legs off, but we definitely keep going. Can't get out of your groove, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You got to keep practicing. You got to get better at the craft and do what you do. But you put in a great season. As you look back on that, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts of, boy, I really didn't know what I would do when the season started, but here I am. Can you take us, Raegan, through the year and how you feel about what you accomplished?
I'm very proud of us just getting on this stage and not staying just as good and consistent as we were. I don't think we missed. We didn't place in a little bit of the spring season, and I don't necessarily think that was our fault. Sometimes you're just not meant to place, and that is the lesson that you're being taught. So just us being able to go out there and stay a team the whole time. We didn't really have any mess-ups. We didn't fight each other or anything. It just wasn't necessarily us in the winner's circle, and that's completely okay. I'm proud of us to go out there and run at all these new pins and all these new setups, and even the pressure situations, we didn't fumble when it came down to the last few rodeos where we really needed to pull through to make it out there. And So it was definitely God's plan to go out there and let us feel the pressure and not fumble. And I think he knows that we strive with the pressure, so he loves to give it to me.
My goodness, my friend. Welcome back to the show again. I bet when we get ready for rodeo season, we'll talk with you next year as well. Good luck as you go to Oklahoma or wherever else before, school gets back in session. And what a great season. Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Raegan Chance with us. How about that? NWCC barrel racer. She finished the year as the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association's barrel racing reserve champion. She put her way into the short round there at the end and moved up a couple of spots and ends up as the reserve champion. She finished the week with 160 points, which puts her third in the Women's Rookie of the Year standings. So the freshman doing a great job there. And by her points alone, the Northwest Women's Rodeo team finished 8th in the event. She was the only one out there, but the point total that she put forward led Northwest there. There were 2 men that were out there as well, as they had both bull riding and steer wrestling represented. As you know, Will Collier has been on the program. He did the steer wrestling, and Dakota Smith finishing in 5th in bull riding. We're going to talk to the head coach, Will Lummus, about those guys next as the Ranger Hour continues. But congratulations again, Raegan Chance. Tremendous job in her work out in Casper. 9:32. It is Thursday, June 25th, 2026. The Ranger Hour, by the way, will be in podcast form anywhere you look for those podcasts later on today. Or you can also find it right on the front page of northwestms.edu. Later today, we'll get that up for you. All right, right now you can see the one where we talked baseball and women's basketball last week. But we'll get this one up in case you miss anything later today.
Thanks for listening to the Bank First Ranger Hour, your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College on Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 and streaming live at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour.
Boy, just another impressive interview with a student, whether they're an athlete or just our normal person in academics that we have had on this program in the Bank First Ranger Hour. Raegan Chance did another great job representing herself, her partner Skye, and talking about Northwest Community College and her experience out in Casper, Wyoming. The leader of the Northwest Rodeo team is Coach Will Lummus. He's back with us. Hey, Coach.
How are we doing?
Good. Things are going pretty well around here. I told you during the commercial break there how impressed I was, and then just said it again about how it sounds like her head is on the shoulder right. She knows what, she's supposed to do, how she's supposed to go about it, handles her business, so to speak. Can you expand a little bit, not just on her, but on all of the athletes that you've had and the team that you put together and maybe how they do handle those situations and in life and on the rodeo scene?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of growing your brand is being able to talk to people and being able to do interviews. And I mean, that's the world we live in now, right? So we live with social media and we live with TV interviews, and rodeo now is becoming more mainstream as far as with the Cowboy Channel and a different way to grow your brand, and really and truly, I only have 2 rules with the rodeo team, which, I have other things as far as like stall barns and different things like that go, but my 2 rules are do your job and be a professional. And to do both of those, being able to communicate and grow your brand as well as Raegan has is part of that.
All right, take us through her season, because she's talked about it as well, the ups and downs and then back up and then finishing the way she did. Can you expand on her?
Yeah, she did great. It really came down to the end right there, and she proved that she was supposed to go to the College National Finals, and she's done really well throughout high school and now in college, finishing second in the nation, and was winning the nation all the way until the last girl, and The last girl that actually ended up winning it, she won 2 other rounds. So I mean, it was just kind of her time to win it. So you know, I don't ever mind getting beat or winning second. You know, if the other athlete, you know, really kind of comes and shines and beats you, you know, because that's just part of the game. But you know, Raegan did well. She had 4 really good runs, and yeah, I look forward to seeing what the rest of her college rodeo career really brings for her.
To me, talking with her, it's only going to make her drive harder. Do you agree? Because she sounds like one. She mentioned winning a national title. I mean, that's something that obviously everyone has in their mind as a goal to do. But I think you're going to see a driven young lady come back to you for year 2.
Yeah, you know, it's you see, it can go 2 ways. You know, winning second can either destroy you or it can build a fire in you and make you want to be better. And Ray, you know, it's definitely going to build a fire under Raegan, and I look forward to her having another opportunity at a national championship.
With all of these, with Raegan, with Will, with Dakota, and looking at the times, right? And it's such a thin margin for error, isn't it? You know, you may put down a tremendous run and whatever it is, and somebody beats you by 1/10 of a second or not even 1/10 of a second. It is so close between all these finalists, isn't it?
It is. You know, when you have 4, when you run 4, when you compete 4 times, you know, it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So, yeah, Dakota did really well in the bull riding as well. He was the highest marked man on 2 bulls. There was 4 guys that rode 3 bulls. And nobody covered, you know, all 4 of their bulls. So Dakota did really well. I thought they could have marked him a few more on both of his bulls, but you know, it like I said, it wouldn't matter. We had to cover, you know, a whole nother bull. But Dakota's kind of like Raegan. I mean, he's excited to come back and have another chance, and I think Dakota rides well enough to win a national championship as well. And then Will Collier, I'm going to lose him after this year, but he's actually going to strike out and start kind of rodeoing professionally, and I think Will's ready. I mean, Will bulldogs extremely well and is a winner, you know. And if he can get on the right horses and get in the right rig and stay in the right state of mind, I think Will's got a chance to make the national finals, the NFR in Las Vegas, and we'll see kind of where that journey takes him in the next couple of years too.
Back to Dakota just a little bit. When he in the final ride jumped off that bull, put his fists up in the air. I was right there with him. It was an exciting moment just to watch. I've only talked to him, right, on the show, never met him, but just following Northwest, seeing that Northwest logo and everything, I got pretty pumped up about it as well. He really played the crowd after that, didn't he?
Yeah, you know, it's a little out of character for Dakota because he just, you know, he doesn't ever really show a lot of emotion. And so, I mean, when you see him do stuff like that, you really know what it means to him and, you know, how excited he is and how he performed. And, you know, and the bull riding's a judged event. So it seems like, you know, the more you can get the crowd involved, the more control you can have. You jump off on your feet, land on your feet. I mean, it just shows all control. So, you know, sometimes it'll sway the judges to mark you a few more points. So, but it was really cool to see him kind of show some emotion and get excited about what he's doing because he is extremely talented. And he, you know, I said it in one of our earlier interviews that Northwest did out there that, you know, we had three opportunities out there to win the national championship, and I felt really good about all 3 of our opportunities. And any of those 3 could have won it at any point. You know, we felt a little shy, but I was still extremely proud of how they all competed. So
how does Dakota get better, Coach? How do you talk to him? How does he continue to do what he needs to do? And how much does that really matter about the bull that you get on? Because the very last rider, it was trouble getting him out of the chute a little bit. Bull wasn't cooperating quite so well. Sometimes you can get a stubborn old boy. But to take us through that just a little bit.
Yeah, you know, to me, I think bull riding is, which most everything, rodeo or sport in general, is extremely mentally driven, right? So, to me, Dakota rides really, really good, and he rides as good, if not better, than all of the guys that were riding out there. So the deal with Dakota is just trying to keep him in the right state of mind, keep him confident, and he's done a great job. He did a great job of it the whole time we were in Casper. You know, we struggled a little bit this second semester, but you know, he's, like I said, he was in a different frame of mind. He was able to practice some and get some confidence before we went into Casper, and he competed really well, and I was proud of him.
Last thing for us, and well, maybe one more after, but if you will, back to Will Collier, because he's made it 3 years in a row out there and has really meant a lot to your program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Will Collier has been a leader for us, and it's gonna stink and kind of be a little weird to not have him around, because I did coach that very first year, but you know, I just kind of walked into a team that was already there and with no recruits, and Will's been there or had been there the longest, and had really turned into a leader for me, and a great opportunity to win points, you know, at just about every rodeo. So to lose that's going to be a sting to the program, but at the same time, you know, he's propelled us as well as some others to a different level, to a different recruiting level, to bringing in different athletes and being able to win for the future. So he's really set us up and for the future, and I've enjoyed having him around a lot.
Final thing, Dr. Dale sends info, and he also sent a video of you mic'd up as a softball player and maybe a softball coach. So you do other things besides rodeo, right?
Well, the coaching part, not necessarily so much. I can't really teach you how to hit a ball, but I can talk enough to get in other teams' head to give us a better opportunity to win. Do
you do that? I mean, you can't talk smack in an actual event in rodeo, can you? Or do you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's no different than any other event. I mean, or any other sport. I mean, it's the same exact thing. So, you know, rodeo's a little different. We're always encouraging the other athlete that we're competing against, you know, more times than not. But yeah, there's always a little smack talk involved, no matter what. Especially if you're engaged in the sport. So
sure, absolutely, and that rivalry gets there. You've had it as the professional yourself. I know that there's other people that have been out there that you're battling for each and every week. Remind us again, how many more times are you going to be trying to do what you do in the rodeo world, or are we going to just kind of ease out a little bit in the next year or so?
Yeah, just kind of easing out. You know, we've got some other plans kind of lined up, and everything, you know, kind of comes to an end at some point, and you know, we'll be able to focus a little more on the college rodeo program and do some different things. But I'm still rodeoing some this summer, but yeah, I've backed off some, and we're just going to kind of ease our way out quietly. I
assume you've already got the team and everybody set up and ready to roll for the next semester of college, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we've got some good recruits coming in that we're proud of, and we've got some great ones coming back. So I look forward to having a pretty good team this coming year.
I always enjoy talking with you, Coach. Thanks for your time this morning.
You betcha. Thank you.
Will Lummus with us, head rodeo coach at NWCC. He's been a champion in the steer wrestling industry and pro rodeo, and he has brought what he knows and, as obvious, help push this Northwest Rodeo team forward. With what we saw with Dakota Smith, he finished up as the 5th best bull rider in the nation. And again, that final run, he got a score of 82.75, jumped off, fists in the air. It was an exciting moment. The crowd was with him, and as Coach said, that's part of all of it. Maybe a little out of character for Dakota. And then Will ended his time as one of the most decorated rodeo athletes in history, going to Wyoming all 3 years, finished in the top 10 in his final 2, finished 6th in this one, and now is going to move on and head to the professional opportunities for him. Those two guys earned enough points to finish in the top 20 in the country in men's rodeo. And now we're not just talking 2-year schools. They're with the 4-year schools as well. All jumped in and jumbled into one, if you will. Like the young lady that beat out Raegan for the national title was from Texas A&M. And so these youngsters come into school in Intercollegiate Northwest Community College and then riding in whatever event it is and out-representing NWCC against the nation's best, no matter what the classification. And they all carried themselves well and represented Northwest and all finished in the top 6 in their respective events. Raegan Chance second in barrel racing. In bull riding, it was Dakota Smith in 5th, and Will Collier 6th in steer wrestling. And again, it was a good moment and a proud moment when I was watching to see them with those vests on, the big N and the Northwest on it, representing on the national scene. And so we really appreciate all of them, not just for what they did, but they've all been on the program at some point in time. I know next week on the show, we're going to kind of recap everything, so to speak, in the world of athletics. We've talked to some of the coaches, and obviously now within rodeo and what's going on, I think that's part of the plan for next Thursday's show, that we'll do kind of a recap. We'll get Caleb out of Sports Information to be on with us and kind of go over a little bit of everything, kind of an end of the year leading into now what's coming up. And, of course, you know football's coming up soon, right? I mean, here we are on June 25th, and the first game for Coach Benji Parker and company as they'll try again, not just to win the North, but the state and to compete for a national championship, which they've done multiple times in the last few years. It all opens up on August 27th for the regular season against Jones on the road. And then the first home game for Northwest in Senatobia is Gulf Coast. They'll play 3 South Division teams. Colin is next in Wesson before they hit, the north portion of the schedule with the usuals that you know. So we're getting ready for that, for football to get started in August. Volleyball will do the same with some exhibition matches, and then get rolling in early August there, and their regular season will start August 21st. So you do have other things that are about ready to get going and started in sports as we get settled in a little bit with the next semester at NWCC. But a good season for rodeo, and we'll wrap all of the sports up, kind of tie the bow next week for that on the program when we come back next Thursday. Thank you to Raegan Chance. I'm telling you, every student, whether they're athlete or whatever, have been so good to join the program, give us some time, and representing the college very well. Will Lummus, the rodeo coach, always good to be on with us as well. So congratulations to both the men and women for the entire season and what they did. And they, of course, they'll be going as well because they do a fall and then they do into the spring, because they'll be getting ready for, things to get started in September when they get going. So all of that happening at NWCC. That will finish up our Bank First Ranger Hour on this Thursday. That puts the wrap on today's Bank First Ranger Hour. Thanks for listening. And if you missed anything, podcast form, anywhere you find podcasts, or it will be up later on today at northwestms.edu. So long.